Hey, do you have a father, grandfather, uncle, or some other paternal figure in your life, and you'd like to get him a gift? Well, let me recommend Amazon Prime. It's got shows Dad will love, like Reacher or The Terminal List. Remember, Amazon Prime, the streaming service for Dad. Now, on the other hand, if you're looking for a gift for that epic fantasy book series fan, I repeat, don't get them an Amazon Prime subscription. Because after they finished taking a bat to the Wheel of Time, they moved on to Lord of the Rings. Amazon Prime's Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, is not a serious adaptation of JRR Tolkien's masterpiece. Not only did the production not involve Tolkien scholar Tom Shippey, legendary director Peter Jackson, or anyone who could have done a proper adaptation, Rings of Power is based on the appendices of Lord of the Rings, not the Silmarillion, not the Hobbit, not the Unfinished Tales. However, this thinly sourced, incredibly expensive TV series is good for one thing: memes. So join me as I count down the top 5 memes that came out of this train wreck of a production. Number 5. Female dwarf beards. This is one of the oldest memes associated with Rings of Power, and there are a lot of different versions of it. They pretty much all revolve around the original character, Disa, the Dwarven Princess. I find this meme kind of interesting for a couple of reasons. First, it shows how well read the Lord of the Rings fandom in general is. The fact that female dwarves have beards is mentioned only a handful of times, and we never even see any of them in the book proper. Another thing I find interesting is that a lot of the other properties inspired by Lord of the Rings have their own take on what female dwarves should look like, and they're usually not depicted with beards. Think things like D&D, Dragon Age, or World of Warcraft. Next up, number 4. Cheeto Dust Galadriel. This meme is a little more obscure. It appeared along with the release of the Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power trailers. There's a scene with Galadriel in full armor, in some sort of orange-lit environment covered in dirt, and it looks like a giant bag of Sauron's Doritos exploded in her face. How that didn't end up as some kind of cross-promotion, I have no idea. Opportunity missed. Number 3. The soap opera opening. This meme showed up when the Rings of Power opening was released. The opening involves characters from the show appearing from a dark environment and then fading out as another character appears. They usually make some kind of face, point, wink, or some other thing, and the effect is really cheesy and low budget looking. Do a search on YouTube of Rings of Power soap opera, and you'll find some really funny examples of this opening with different kinds of music. It really does look like either a sitcom or a soap opera. Rings of Our Lives or That's My Nazgul. Also, the fact that several of the actors are really hamming it up in this sequence doesn't help. Number 2. Eminem of the Rings. This meme appeared when a screenshot from San Diego Comic-Con appeared to show a character that a lot of people thought was Sauron that bared a pretty strong resemblance to Slim Shady. And let me tell you, this was like Mad Magazine's Lords of the Bling parody come to life. In fact, some dedicated satirists came up with parody lyrics to some of Eminem's songs, making them about Lord of the Rings. Yo, his rings are ready. Virtue weak, armor's heavy. There's deception in his soul already. More goth spaghetti. Finally, let's move on to the number 1 biggest meme to come out of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, releasing the show on the anniversary of JRR Tolkien's death. Really? Seriously? The optics on that could not be worse. I think this meme hits particularly hard because Rings of Power really started ramping up production-wise after the death of Christopher Tolkien. Longtime shepherd of his father's intellectual property, Christopher Tolkien was critical even of the incredibly good Peter Jackson films for diverting from the text his father had written. And really, it doesn't take a lot of effort to imagine how he would have reacted to Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which is Lord of the Rings in name only in many ways. If they wanted actual good optics for the release of their series, they could have waited a couple months till January, the month JRR Tolkien was born, and held the premiere in New Zealand where the Shire sequences were filmed. Called it JRR Tolkien's 11th birthday. Thank you for watching my top 5 memes to come out of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. I guarantee you'll have more fun looking up Lord of the Rings memes than you will with the Amazon Prime Rings of Power series. Now, if you're interested in supporting my work outside of YouTube, check out Sorcerous, a dark fantasy mystery RPG available right now on Steam. Follow the link in the description to watch the trailer. And if you'd like to see more videos about anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel right here on YouTube.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.